My name is Jordan. I am the mother to Dawson, and we are from Grafton, North Dakota. He was almost a month old. He drank his bottle and then he projectile vomited like the entire bottle up. He stopped feeding. He looked almost lifeless. I kind of got scared. I was like, is he even breathing? I had to feel him. I'm like, okay, he's really cold. He wasn't waking to my touch. And I did the walk-in clinic. The nurse grabbed him. She didn't talk, and I noticed she was staring at his breathing. At the time, they said, your son is showing signs of sleep apnea. I meet with the doctor. He stated it'll start with a neb treatment, and what the nebulizer does is it helps open up the lungs. But for a baby as young as Dawson, that is sometimes hard to fight because they're so little, their lungs aren't fully developed. Worst case scenario, your son would get a breathing tube.
When you close your eyes, tell me, what are you dreaming?
Life flighted to Fargo, and the oxygen in his blood levels was dangerously low. When he would breathe in, you'd see every rib. His oxygen would drop. Hearing that ding go off, you look at the monitors, it was scary. I think that was my breaking point. You hear them call a code that isn't something a mother wants to hear. It's all hands on deck. They're all running in. It was time he needed to be put on a breathing machine, and they needed to sedate him. Seeing your son, a baby, lifeless with the breathing tube in, not responding, can't open his eyes, that was the hardest thing. But I knew it was what he needed. A couple hours later, the doctor came back in to inform me that the sedation medication should have wore off, and it hadn't. And he wasn't responding to touch. She was concerned of a potential brain bleed. That was my breaking point where I lost it. I cried. I thought the worst. I remember calling my mom, and I was like, Mom, I don't think I can do this. I don't think I can plan a funeral for my son. He luckily started responding. It was probably the hardest thing ever. Towards the end of our long stay was when Dawson finally got the green light to take the tube out, and I got to hold him. And I remember just crying as soon as they told me, all right, Mom, you ready? And I said, ready for what? Because I never got any good news, it felt like. They said, today's the day. Your son gets the tube out. I'm taking it off. I remember just crying. I'm like, really? Today's the day?
10,000 hours or the rest of my life, I'm gonna love you.
I was blown away by Sanford. The service that they provided us was amazing. The day they told us, you guys can go home now, walking out those doors with your son, it's almost like leaving the hospital for the first time, having your baby again. Dawson got his miracle.